Hey, welcome to another episode of the Governese channel where we teach you the language of government contracting. In today's episode, our guest, Melvin Coleman, president of the Atlanta Black Chamber, or otherwise known as ABC, he shares with us about how ABC has been able to help businesses thrive during the pandemic. Stay tuned. I'll see you on the inside.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of the Governese Webcast. Abe, I've lost count. I've been on hiatus for a couple of weeks, so I kind of lost count as to where we are. But we're glad to be back before you all. Abe, thank you for always being such a great co-host. And today we have a great guest, Mr. Melvin Coleman, who is the executive director of the Atlanta Black Chambers. And so we're glad to have him here and to share a little bit about what's going on with the chamber. Abe, did you want to add anything else? And I'll just give Melvin a brief intro here and then we'll get started.
Sure. Well, hey, Crystal, you're an amazing co-host with me here. So I know last session you took a hiatus. I missed you. I need you all the time in our sessions here, but hey, you know what? We had fun. So all of the audiences that join us, it was fun. And so I did my best without you, but I need you all the time. So don't skip out on town on me anymore.
I will. He's stuck with me.
Yeah, but so in our guest today, it's been we've known each other for a while now, so I'm really excited that you invited our guest to join us today.
Okay, so I will go ahead and introduce Melvin and we'll get started. So Melvin serves, as I said, as the executive director of the Atlanta Black Chambers. He is also the president and CEO of Essential Wealth Management Group, LLC. Melvin founded EWM in September of 2006, shortly after leaving Raymond Jones and Associates. Raymond Jones is one of the most highly regarded brokerage firms in America, and he benefited tremendously from his experience there. He's earned his Series 7 and 666 securities licenses while at Raymond James. Melvin is originally from Savannah, Georgia. He committed to the U.S. Navy before graduating from high school in 1986. His time in the Navy afforded him the opportunity to travel the world and see places he had only read about in books. This experience really helped to broaden his horizons and has served him well to this very day. And I can attest that he does a very good job in leading us at the within the chamber, because I am a member of GCA as well as the Atlanta Black Chambers. And so we'd like to thank Melvin for being here. Let's get started.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that introduction, Crystal. It always feels different for me because I'm usually introducing people. So
right.
I don't know how to act when people are introducing me. It feels funny. Thank you.
You're welcome. So just to get us started, as I mentioned, I'm a member of both GCA and the Atlanta Black Chambers. And so I became a member of the chamber through the collaboration and partnership that both organizations have together. And so I wanted you guys to talk a little bit about, that partnership, how long it's been in place, and just some of the benefits that members will have if they are either a member of GCA already. How can they become, the benefit of the programs and opportunities that the chamber provides, and vice versa. So, Melvin, you want to start?
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you all for having me. And you want to talk about the partnership. So it's great that I'm here because the ABC's strategic partnership with GCA, Government Contractors Association, is our longest, most productive. It's just the one that makes the most sense for our membership and vice versa. I believe it either officially kicked off late 2017 or early 2018. can't but it's been several years, so it's been a minute,
I'm just trying to remember last year, Melvin. Don't go that far back on me.
Right. So we've been at this for a while, and it has produced for both organizations. When you look at the members that engage on both sides, I know our members. I'm always seeing the communication that they have started their registration with GCA, and I'm always excited because that lets me know that they've come into the Atlanta Black Chambers, and now they're taking a next step, which is to engage with our strategic partners. And the first one would always be the Government Contractors Association. So it's been good. I'll see what my buddy Abe wants to add to anything that I've said.
Sure. Well, I remember we met at this restaurant. One of the first time we met, I think it was Po Folks, was it? Or they call it Folks now. It's called Folks now.
No, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
And I think Richard has some fried chicken. I don't remember what I had. I don't remember what you had, but I remember Richard had fried chicken because that's the only thing he would eat at that place there. And so that was way back 2017, 2018. So we've come a long way since then. And between the two organizations, and I've seen how you guys have grown over that time frame there. The Atlanta Black Chambers, how you've grown, how you supported your members, and GCA has come a long way. Also, the Government Contract Association, we've come a long way since then. We developed a lot of great programs, have trained a lot of companies through the government contracts. I would say since then, hundreds of millions of contracts have been won since you and I came together. And some of your benefits, some of your members are the direct beneficiaries of these contract awards. So it's been very fruitful from helping businesses win government contracts. It's also been beneficial from my perspective. I see that a lot of our members has a direct connection back to you guys, where they may have not heard of the Atlanta Black Chambers, but as they become exposed to our association, they say, "Wow, what is this?" As they go to new member orientation. So every company that comes through, they go through new member orientation, and part of the new member orientation is they get exposed to the ABC organization there. And some of them have left us to join you guys, and so we're glad that we're a feeder into your community, your ecosystem, and because we help them to a certain point, but they need ongoing support in the commercial world as well. So I think it's been a very fruitful relationship in terms of us, adding value to what you guys are doing, and then we, being able to add value to your audience. I would say probably about 85% of the businesses in our association are probably of African American owned businesses.
Right.
So just a high number of companies is a good fit to what the Atlanta Black Chambers is all about.
Yeah, and I just want to add, one of the things that we promote to the community is that, hey, if you become a member of the Atlanta Black Chambers, then you're going to have access to so many resources, and that can be in the form of people, places, things, what have you. So somebody joins and then they find out for the first time that there's something, the Government Contractors Association, and it's a part of our offering from a benefits package standpoint if you're a member. And so it really adds a lot, makes us more robust in what we're able to offer when we are able to say, hey, you can engage as a member with GCA. So it's one of the stronger offerings in the benefits package, So yeah, and just the fact that we say we're a trusted source of accurate, timely information and things that you need. And so when they see GCA, that's an example. My words have meaning because they say, "Oh yeah, you're right," because I was able to attend a GCA session and I learned all this great stuff. So that's why it matters. We have to have these relationships.
Right.
Yeah.
Just I don't if I recall correctly, and you guys may recall as well, I think I'm like the first person to become a member of the chamber through this partnership. I think I'm the very first one.
Hey, I want to take a minute to say thank you to our sponsors of the Governese channel here. And if you're watching this here, please visit our sponsors because they make it possible for us to do the Governese channel. Our first sponsor is the Government Contractors Association. The Government Contractors Association, or GCA, is a national trade association comprised of commercial contractors, small and large companies, and government agencies, federal agencies, state agencies, local agencies, government staff, universities, nonprofits, and many other entities out there. Their vision is to create access to help small businesses to get into the government market, to open doors for commercial companies into the government marketplace, and to support government agencies in accessing more qualified contractors. Their mission is to educate, facilitate, and advocate for their members based on becoming the premier government contractor association with their 3 pillars. Learn more about the Government Contractor Association at govassociation.org. GOVASSOCIATION.org. govassociation.org.
You might be and you made history. So,
yeah. I need plaques from both organizations.
Right. Yeah, Abe made a point earlier about how you were not with him the last time you did the podcast, and he's like, "Hey, I really miss you." I was going to say, trust me, Abe, on the ABC side, with Crystal's not there, we're like, wait, we need Crystal. She's just really, she's the MVP. She's like the most valuable player. So I can relate to you when you said that.
And I try to, whenever possible, when I'm having conversations with chamber members, I share, a lot of what I've learned from Abe and GCA about government contracting, where I can, because, government, they sell everything. And so I just always want to make sure that our chamber members are aware that that opportunity is there and that to not pass it up, so. Okay, that's great. So just moving along, of course, last 2 years, we've been dealing with this whole pandemic thing, and as we were talking earlier, with our last first Friday with the chamber was back in early, March of 2020. So we're 2 years from having our last first Friday. I missed the good food and fellowship, but I've been able to, attend some of the in-person events that we have had with the chamber. So Melvin, I just wanted you to kind of talk about how the chamber was affected by the pandemic. I know we had some positive outcomes as it relates to, that pandemic, me being a member of the chamber, in 2020, I was so appreciative of the fact that, you were providing us like timely information about these PPP loans, about PPE. We had, medical professionals within the chamber coming on, giving us information about how to stay safe, and just, information about grants, those types of things. So just kind of talk about how the chamber, was affected by the pandemic and just some of the positives that came out of it.
Yeah, that's a great question because the pandemic happened 2020. So prior to that, say 2017, 2018, the ABC was in high growth and development mode. Of course, Crystal, that's when, you showed up. And so when the pandemic came, we were well positioned in a state of crisis to step up and deliver. Okay, this is what the Black business community needs right now. They need information, accurate, timely, here's the latest, here's where you need to go to get it. Or perhaps we used our platform to bring that right person to share. So we just stepped up, we felt like it was our responsibility to stand tall in the pocket like a quarterback and deliver. And so the community responded to what we were doing in the way of the events and activities. There was a learning curve with the virtual we went from not knowing much about Zoom to Zoom is now like, it's a part of the language.
Yes.
That,
Yes.
and so we went through all of that. But once we got to that place where this is what we're doing week in and week out, and everybody knew that that's what we were doing. They wanted to be a part of it. And so membership like exploded around June of 2020. One of the biggest months in the history of the organization, where the membership growth was just phenomenal. And I would credit that to all of the activity that we had put out there, and folks wanting to be a part of that, knowing they need it because you're not getting out as much. And so now you got to get this through this technology, and the ABC is bringing this to us in such an accessible way. So it was a time of crisis, and we were able to meet the call. It was like, wow, we've got to make this thing happen. This is what the community needs right now, and we've got the platform. So let's represent. And we're glad that we were able to do that. And so we've been able to go even further and beyond each year. So 2021 and 2022, we've got some great plans to continue to produce and do this work. So, but the pandemic was a real experience. Pros and cons, obviously.
Yeah. And the reach of the chamber went outside of the Atlanta area. So now we have people joining us from, where different states and outside of the 40.
Yeah. So, I just mentioned pros and cons. Yeah. So one of the pros, and we didn't really think so much about it, but it's a part of the virtual opportunity is it's borderless. And so folks outside of the United States, not just across the country, are able to participate in these activities.
Yeah.
And I just think that's something that a lot of organizations realize, and is one of the reasons why, you will never go back to say we don't see the value in doing virtual events. I think there's going to be a balance for a lot of organizations like ours, where they will incorporate both into how they operate. Pros and cons of the pandemic, right? It was obviously an awful experience for a lot of businesses that did not make it. Certain businesses, if you were in the right space, the demand for your product or service increased. Yeah. So it was a tale of two cities, so to speak.
And Abe, I know GCA was affected heavily by the pandemic. So, being that, you guys hosted a lot of in-person events, that put a huge damper on that. So you want to just kind of talk about how it affected GCA as well?
Sure. Yeah. Well, we had a office facility with a big event room, 4 or 5 conference room, training room, all of that. And our lease was pretty hefty on a monthly basis. And our event space holds up to about 120 people. So March 2020, we had to make some serious decisions. We said, hey, how do we navigate through this new world here? It was some very scary time for us. Our members were like, I would say 98% of all our events were live events. And then that 2% was, we did a live event and we just streamed it. And so it was, people joined us through a live streaming while we were doing a real event. So we had almost no online events at that time because we had a huge facility. And so everything we did was just live events. So we had to make some tough decisions. And that's entrepreneurship, right? That's with any organization, any business, whether you are government, whether you are, a commercial business, doesn't matter. You go through this process where at different points in your journey, you have to make some tough decisions. And so we made the tough decision to leave and not have an office space. So that was a major decision. And then what that did was we reinvented ourselves. And I remember one of the first companies I started looking at was kind of like a fine dining restaurant. And whereas the ambiance is all about white tablecloth and, candle light. And it was just that. And then they shifted to where they did delivery. And people are like, what, you're doing fine dining delivery? And they were one of the first companies I was reading about it. I said, okay, you know what? We will grow and thrive, or we will die if we don't reinvent ourselves as an organization. And so we went through that process, went completely 100% virtual. And sure enough, as we went through that, the first few months, unlike what you guys went through at ABC, the first few months were very rocky for us because, we didn't, we addressed the pandemic, addressed the different shift that was happening, but people weren't joining because they wanted the information. They attended events for the information, but the people weren't joining GCA as an organization at that time. So we revamped all of our curriculum, all of our training programs, and took it all online. And so that's when we started to increase in membership, and people started to come back to the association. And so since then, I think we are stronger than we've ever been as an organization. We probably have more reach. We have members in California, in the Pacific Northwest, from New York to Ohio to all over the country now. And so your early comments, Melvin, about there's pros and cons to this here. So we made a lot of tough decisions, but it opened up a lot of different doors. And so right now, we still, to this day, we still haven't had a live event. Everything we do is just still all virtual. And I'm actually enjoying the virtual stuff because instead of going to office where, I put in long hours, I can actually put long hours at the house in my home office, and I get to see my kids. My kids are homeschooled. So that's one of the other pros of going virtual. I get to see my kids every single day during daylight hours, whereas before it was like to kiss them goodnight. So those are some really good stuff that came out of this year.
Mm-hmm. And if I can interject, Crystal, I keep making this point. So listen to everything Abe just said about the advantages of the virtual experience, but then at some point later, it could be next year or whenever, GCA will have, in-person stuff periodically. Mm-hmm. And now he's like, I got it all. I can still have that in-person experience because I've been to GCA many times, and the networking and stuff we would do is just like, you want to be there. So I'm looking forward to whenever that would take place at some point later on down the road. And then it's like, hey, we got it all now. We don't have to give up anything, So that would be so cool.
Yeah. And we do have a new office space, even though we have an office, but we just don't go in because all of our events are just happens to be virtual now. Mm-hmm. But we have an office space. It's in, even though people call it Atlanta, but it's really Chamblee. Mm-hmm. It's at the DeKalb Peachtree Airport. And we have a facilities there. We got lots of conference rooms there. But it's a community. It's a co-working space of community. 25% of the business there are government contractors already. And it's a hub zone. So, for business that wants to get hub zone certification, it's a great location for that. And then the event center could probably host about maybe 100 people. Mm-hmm. And so we, by making this change, we actually ended up thinking out of the box. Instead of us having our own facility, by partnering with another organization, now the beautiful thing to that is the burden of the office space is not on us.
Right.
We get to use, whereas before we were paying for a meeting event space. Now, through a collaboration, we have an event space, and we don't have to necessarily pay that thousands and thousands of dollars every month to have an event center.
Yeah. So this is a much better model. Yeah. Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah. We were paying, I'm talking about close to $10,000 a month on office space.
Wow.
So.
Yeah. Awesome.
So, going virtual saves money and it increases the reach. So that's, those are just, two pros to that. And just talking about moving into increasing and expanding the reach, I wanted to touch on global opportunities. I know that within the chamber, Melvin has been talking about starting a new committee, the Global Opportunities Committee. And so I wanted, to have a brief conversation about that because Abe and GCA have this great relationship with Dr. Kim and the delegation from Korea, and just kind of talk through, some just early stage ideas about, to see how potentially we can get the chamber businesses connected with the Korean delegation so that we can, start building these global relationships, because I know that there are businesses within the chamber that would want to, take it abroad and that have the capabilities to do that. So Melvin, if you want to just talk a little bit about that committee and your thoughts about it, that'd be great.
Yeah, I do, because I'm very excited. The question would be like, why would we want to have this global opportunities committee? And it's because we talk about supporting and assisting entrepreneurs to take their business endeavor to that next level. Mm-hmm. And there are different ways to go to the next level. And one of the ways, and we don't talk about it as much as we should, is that going to another level is doing business internationally or globally, having customers or partners in other countries, if it makes sense for your product or service. And so we, the Atlanta Black Chambers, we want to have that Global Opportunities Committee. And Crystal, as you know, and in Aid too, we've got several committees within the ABC, and the Global Opportunities Committee would be the newest committee, which would give us a focus on, okay, number one, you have to learn and be trained on how to do business, because there are all different types of rules and stuff like that, customs and all that stuff. But then also GCA, you have that South Korea relationship that I've known about for a few years, because ABC members who were engaged with GCA were also participating in that. That's how I learned about it, when I had people telling me, oh, I can't meet with you because I'll be in South Korea, I'll be in Korea. I'm like, you going to Korea? What's going on? And they would tell me about the government contract. I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. That's how I learned about it, through members already. Abe, you may remember, it's Ebony Green. Mm-hmm. Folks like, this is years ago, talking about she's going to Korea with GCA. So, we're excited. There's great synergy, say, with this committee, Abe, once I establish it, and then what you got going on with that Korean connection. So I look forward to us talking about how to collaborate. Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah. We've had, back in 2016, 17, we started developing a relationship with a professor at Sunshine University out of South Korea. Now, he himself have been in the U.S. for probably close to 2 decades. As an entrepreneur, started a business in the government space. He's won millions and millions of government contracts. And so at a later stage in his career, he said, I'm thinking I need to do something a little different. And then his wife's health was, she was going through some health challenges too. So he said, you know what, let me take my wife back home to South Korea, and let me figure out what that next chapter is. So he decided to go and be a professor at a university and teach international business. But 90% of the international business that he's teaching is about government contracting. Anyone can teach about international business, but very few people have the experience or the knowledge to talk about government contracting, doing business with other government agencies around the world. So that was the curriculum of his whole program. And so since then, a KAIST University, KAIST is kind of like the MIT. MIT is like the top university in the US. KAIST University is the top university, not just in South Korea, but pretty much all of Asia. And so they recruited him to go to KAIST to take that program, the government contracting program, the international business program, and take it to KAIST. So he's been working at KAIST. And so through that relationship, my first thought is in terms of as ABC starts to build out a committee to expand and help your members to grow internationally. When it comes to international, probably the most important thing is trusted relationships. I'm from Laos originally. I don't do business in Laos. And there's our ethnic people. There's our ethnic people in China. I don't do business in China. Why? Because I don't have a trusted relationships over there. And so anytime you're doing international, you have to have that. If you don't have that, it's a very slippery slope to get into some serious trouble. Mainly because in many of these international places, bribery is part of business. And so if you're going to go do business in some countries, there's two stack of money, right? One is the money on top of the table, and the other is the money underneath the table. And so I when I do international business, I'm very careful because I don't want to make money today and then end up on the news tomorrow.
Right.
I don't want to be famous like that. And so from the very beginning, I tell the businesses, I say, hey, that's how something's going to shake out, but you need to be very specific with your partners overseas that this is how you do business. And so that either they run from you from the very beginning or they understand that that's how you operate and they treat you as such. Because in some places, it is not an issue of moral because it happens, everybody does it. So it's no longer a moral issue. It's just part of business. You pay this person to do that. And in the US, we call it referral fees. We call it commissions. Over there they don't have that structure, right? So it's just money under the table. So that's my strongest contention of doing international business. But we've navigated that water, and so we've been doing work in South Korea for about 6 years now, and it's gone well. We've helped a lot of companies expand their product and service to the U.S. And then we've taken delegations, ABC members as well as our members. We've gone on probably about 5 different delegations to South Korea since we've been doing this here. So, and part of it is we work with the South Korean government, and I think this will be a perfect fit for ABC to expand internationally. And South Korea has a strong Korean community here in the Atlanta metro market, where this is one of the strongest hub of Korean business expansion. They have plants across the border out of Georgia. The Hyundai plant is over there. The Kia plant is in Georgia. Many of the executives and workers that work at these facilities, they live in Metro Atlanta, but they go down to Columbus to work at the facility. So they stay down there 5 days out of the week, but their families are in Atlanta because in South Georgia there's not much down there outside of the Kia plant. So yeah, I'm excited for you guys. I think there's a lot of different opportunities, and Atlanta is a very attractive business community for international companies to expand into. And we've seen that, through, Mercedes-Benz. They've got a major presence here. Plus they have the plant in South Carolina. We have the Kia. We have all kinds of different. Toyota just has a huge facilities here in the Metro Atlanta area. So there's a lot of international companies that's here. Plus we got the world's busiest airport. And so that's attractive for international business to be here because they have easy access to get to us. So yeah, I think that's a great move.
And don't forget about Porsche. Porsche.
Oh yeah,
got
absolutely
down into the airport as well. So, but
and Melvin, we have a relationship with the Economic Development Authority of Canada. They just set up a new office here in Atlanta, probably about a year and a half ago. And so because they want to, because Georgia is strategic, and so at some point, once you form the committee, we can kind of have a conversation, and I can kind of introduce you to the Canadian, Development Authority as well.
Excellent. Yeah, we want to have these different relationships and collaborate with these people. and become educated. Like what you just shared, obviously invaluable in terms of, international is different. You need to understand what you're getting yourself into. But so that's what we want for this committee. I could see you being a guest speaker for their session. Like we're gonna let you talk.
Well, hey, sign me up, man. Whenever you guys kick it off, I'll come and sit on it, and if you guys want me to share anything, you'd be happy to share. And then one thing I talk about the business side of it. One other quick comment about the international side of it, the cultural side of it too, right? Mm. So you have to be culturally sensitive when you're dealing with international entrepreneurs and so forth, because what we think is normal here is not normal over there. Like for example, when we took the delegates from Georgia to Korea, and we tell them that when you are engaging somebody, you don't take your business card that's in your pocket and you take it out, especially men, right? We carry the business card in our back pocket and we sit on it and so forth. And so when you take your business card from your back pocket and hand it to someone, that's kind of like you're giving them your runt to them.
Right. You be sitting your behind on it.
Right.
So it's inappropriate. It's inappropriate over there. And then when you hand the business card, you don't just like here, right? You actually do it and treat the business card with a lot of respect, and you hand it to them with two hands down like this. So there's certain things that you do in different countries. This is just Korea. Like we actually brought in a cultural trainer to train our members, our delegates that's going to South Korea, so that they can go over there and do things, and then learning a few words, like hello, hi, thank you, you're welcome. It goes a long way in terms of going to do international business. So we got lots of stuff to talk about when we get to that point.
Yeah, it's going to be great, and it's just the synergy and the relationship that already exists. So, can't wait, Abe. It's going to be good.
Oh, you know what? I have to say this. And before we leave this topic on setting up an international global committee for the ABC here, a lot of innovations are happening outside the U.S., whether it's in Canada, whether it's in South Korea, whether it's anywhere else in the world. And the reason is U.S. have we have a lot of regulations, and regulations is good, but regulation also hurts us. And so whereas our regulation bogs down certain technology, in other countries, the limited regulations allows innovations to happen very, very quickly. And but they, that doesn't mean that they don't make sure that the product is safe. Doesn't make sure that the product is not of standard. It's great technology. They just don't have all the regulations that we have to go through. Mm-hmm. And so Korea is a world leader when it comes to connectivity, the internet connectivity. They have some innovative technologies that does not exist in the U.S. And so let me give you an example. One of the companies, they created how people have iWatch or a Fitbit or something like that, that check your pulse rate. Yeah. Well, they developed a phone that actually not only checks your pulse rate, but checks your blood pressure itself. So it's kind of like the armband blood pressure where you put on your arm and air pumps into it, and then it checks your blood pressure. Well, they do it on a small little watch on your wrist, and it will do medical grade blood pressure reading. That's happening from overseas. It's a very innovative, and there's lots of other different technology that we can at least talk about some point in the future. But so lots of things happening. So I love the direction that you're doing with ABC. I think it's a good move.
Absolutely. Okay.
Awesome. So that's about all I had for Melvin today. Abe, is there anything else that you wanted to ask him? I know.
Yeah, I do. So Melvin, I think I love our relationship between the Government Contractors Association and the Atlanta Black Chambers. One of our companies, Delerme CPA, when you guys send out that program about Salesforce looking for doing a mentor project program. So you sent that email to us. I got it. I shared it with our members. They applied for it and they got accepted into the Salesforce mentor project program through you guys. And so they're doing very well in the program. And that program there has introduced them to Bed Bath and Beyond, introduced them to Facebook, introduced them to so many other networks that Salesforce has. And so it's so what you guys are doing at the Atlanta Black Chamber. I know some members they take advantage of the benefits, but that you may never hear back from them. But I just want to share that what you guys are doing there is very meaningful and impactful to the small business community, especially to people of color that may not always have access. And so that Salesforce Mentor Project program is a good example. And you know how some program is like a dog and pony show, and is really they don't really do much. You get into this supply diversity program or some type of mentor project program, but they just want to check a little box. Well, so far, their experience in that has not been that. Their experience in the Salesforce program has been where they actually get assigned a real mentor to engage them, and they actually meet and they actually create sessions, and they actually say, hey, what do you want out of this program? And they say, hey, yes, we want to learn about how large companies operate and how larger companies build infrastructure, how you get clients and so forth. But ultimately, what we want is, to get more clients through our relationship with Salesforce. So Salesforce said, okay, let's do this here and let's set up meetings for you for these different companies. So it's a very good program. I don't know if anybody else from ABC is in the program, but just want to give a report that what you guys are doing has been very meaningful.
I want to thank you for the feedback, because to your point, a lot of times you don't get the feedback. You put something out there, great opportunity, and then you don't have that closure around, hey, this is what happened. Thank you. Bye. So now I'm like, oh wow, great, because of course I remember the Salesforce opportunity, and I shared it with you, GCA, and I was hoping that you would have, because they had a pretty stringent type of like, hey, you got this revenue, this, that. And I knew that GCA would have, okay, GCA's got to have some candidates for this. So I'm very happy to know that at least someone from GCA is going through this thing. It sounds like it's going to change their, it's going to change their business, take them to another level. There's that next level that we talked about. And so we did have a couple of our members to go into the program. So it's good to know that you had at least one, maybe more, I don't know, but that's great, man. And that's what we do, Abe. I mean, it's like that came to ABC, and I'm like, okay, GCA, you got somebody. So that was awesome. That was fantastic. Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
Why we collaborate and partner, going back to how we started the whole conversation. So that's great to hear.
Absolutely.
So Melvin, tell me, I know you always have your ABC hat on, but professionally outside of you run it as if it's full-time for you at ABC, but you also have a full-time business also. So tell me more about what you do and because we have people out there. In fact, there's a lady that I think might need to talk to you, because her financial advisor called her the day he retired.
Oh,
and he says, I don't know if he retired, but he moved on. Right. And he said, hey, today's my last day. Goodbye.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Wow. I've always been even the kid in high school and the money guy, folks, they would tease me and say, oh, Melvin, he won't spend any money. He's got all that money in the bank. He should buy a car. He's driving his mom's car and all this other stuff. So I've just been that financially savvy person is in my DNA. However, I graduated college and I was already working for UPS, unloading trucks and part-time. And so they heard I was going to move to Charlotte, where the financial industry is pretty big. I was going to go into investments, but my manager at UPS said, "Hey, we don't want you to leave. You've been here for several years, and we've got management opportunities." So I went into management at UPS. Now, this was not, say, what I wanted to do, but it was, I mean, UPS at the time, that's not a company that you just walk away from.
Right.
So I spent 15 years as an account executive at UPS, which is like sales and customer service. I managed the territory, major accounts, and all that stuff. But at some point, I was like, wow, this is not, after 15 years, man, I'm like, I got to go do what I want to do. So that's when I came to Atlanta in 2005. And I worked for a brokerage firm, Raymond James. Stayed there for a couple of years. And being in Atlanta, you meet all these entrepreneurs. And I was like, I could have my own, investment advisory firm. Okay. And so since late 2006, I'm an independent registered investment advisor. I manage money in the stock market. I've got clients who've been with me since way back 2005 timeframe. And over time, if you can make it in this business, like many other businesses, once you get to a certain level, it really does become, it's not the grind that it is in the first few years when you're trying to make it. So I always kid with people. I say, well, instead of playing golf, okay, which maybe a lot of successful people in my industry do, I'm the executive director of the ABC. I have time, so to speak. Okay. And so that's sort of, what happened to me. But I've always been the financial person, fascinated with the stock market, all that. And so I get to live that dream because I have my own, essential wealth management. That's my thing. I've got clients who've been with me for many years. I take on a new client here and there. And then I have this passion called the Atlanta Black Chambers. And that's my story, dude. And I can't tell you what it feels like. My greatest achievement in life is that this is what I want to do. A lot of folks can't say that in terms of how they make a living. They say, man, if I had a chance, I'd be doing this. If I had a chance, I'd be doing that. Well, if I had a chance, I'd be doing exactly what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's quite an achievement. That's it, man. That's all I got for you, brother.
So I'll mention too, last year, the leadership team of the Atlanta Black Chambers surprised Melvin and awarded him with the Transformational Leadership Award back in December of 2021, because the organization has grown by leaps and bounds. All of these programs and committees and new members that we now have came to fruition as a result of the hard work that he's put into the chamber. And so I see what he does on the back end. I don't know, if people outside of the leadership does, but I think everybody does. He knows everybody. I think we have like 600 plus members, Melvin, and you probably know all of them.
I used to know all of them, right? I used to when it was 250 or 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what happened, and it's been just a real blessing, and to have good people like Abe and Crystal. I mean, it's like we were really fortunate, all of us actually, to have these relationships.
Absolutely.
Yes. So you guys have grown quite a bit since we first started working with you guys in our collaboration. And tell me, like, some of I know you talk about committees, but share a little bit more to our listeners and our audience here about what type of programs do you guys have? What type of benefits and value do you provide to the business community itself?
Mm-hmm. So it's like we know who we are, we know who we represent, and then what we do. We're very good at being who we are. So if you come to the ABC, we're going to leverage our platforms, whether they be digital, say actual speaking opportunities, or what have you, and we're going to give you this exposure as an entrepreneur, as a small business owner, and we have multiple ways that we can do that. We are very good at showcasing and spotlighting. So If 100,000 people didn't know you before you came to the ABC, just be patient. They're going to know you, because you're going to get the spotlight. You're going to get a chance to speak. You're going to get a chance to tell the world why they should use you for whatever product or service you provide.
Mm-hmm.
So that's who we are. A lot of access that we give to entrepreneurs, relationships, and so our value is sometimes some of it is tangible, and some of it is intangible, meaning all you have to do is show up, and this the people that you meet and the opportunities you have to connect and collaborate, and just it's an experience for the member. I have people who tell me like, "Oh man, joining the chamber is the best thing I ever did." They're all excited after maybe a month or so in, and they see all the stuff that's going on, and they're like, and maybe they had a chance to have a spotlight. Or I'll never forget, I put somebody on a panel some years ago, and nobody had ever tapped her on the shoulder and told her, giving her an opportunity to be in a situation and tell people about who she was and her knowledge. And she was just blown away by the fact that she had the opportunity to be on a panel. And so we create opportunities and do things for these entrepreneurs. And when I say entrepreneurs, that's really who we are as well. We may not have the $100 million Black-owned business, and we have some, but that's not, say, the majority of our membership. The majority of our membership is that entrepreneur who's got an established entity. They're making money, they're doing okay, and things are okay, but they know there's another level that they need to get to. And that's why they come to the ABC, because they know those relationships and the information and just the stuff that we do. Now they're like, wow, okay, I know what my next step is, because I heard someone speaking in an ABC meeting, or I met this person. And so it's about being engaged. And that's what we create, this experience for the entrepreneur. That's who we are.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, I love that you guys do that there, because there's a lot of talent out there. A lot of great, smart, lots of great entrepreneurs out there. And sometimes sometimes I tell people that entrepreneurship is a lonely road sometimes, because you kind of get in your zone and you just go about life and go about getting your customer, getting your clients, and there's lots of things happening around you. But you seem like you're on one track, and what you guys do is you help them to say, hey, while you're on this journey, look around you, to the left, to your right, behind you, that there's other things. There's more clients that you can get. There's more ways to build yourself as a entrepreneur. There's more ways to grow. There's more ways to get in front of people and shining that spotlight. I love the idea there. In fact, I'm going to steal that idea from you, Melvin. We're going to implement that at GCA. So, member spotlight.
You have such wonderful people that you absolutely should be doing that. And you mentioned, look around, and you said you have these other, say, clients or customers. And for us, it's like you have these your peers, which are other entrepreneurs who may be in different industries and that sort of thing. But it's the relationships that they build a network instead of not knowing who to call for different things. And then they build this network, and they got the right person for everything all around them. And all of that came by way of the chamber and the stuff that we put out there, and create these opportunities for them to engage with one another. That's and some people really get it. And every now and then there's somebody that doesn't, and it's like, okay, it's okay. We do pretty good. Membership is still popping.
Yeah.
So we're fine if somebody doesn't get it, because a lot of people do.
Awesome. So we're just one last thing that I would like before we close it out, for Melvin to tell people about his Tuesday talks that Melvin hosts for the chamber. So on Tuesdays, it's full of information and it's fun. If you come on, you'll see what I'm talking about. So I was teasing Melvin on yesterday that on Tuesdays,
Yeah. So, and thank you, Crystal, for teeing up Tuesday Talks, because that's been a part of the journey of the chamber itself. I did not create this thing called Tuesday Talks, which until recently was a conference call where we would all get on the conference call line. And so what's happened is it has grown and become a staple in the community, as far as say the Black entrepreneur community. So many people know about it and they get on when they can. Some people, they won't miss it unless they have to. But every Tuesday morning, 8:30 a.m., we're now on Zoom. And so that has taken it to another level because whereas we would have 100 plus people, now we've got 150 plus people, and the guest speakers, and then the member spotlights, Abe, which add a lot of value to the membership, just the information that we're able to put out. But it's an experience for the attendee, because you feel like, okay, you're in the room with all these like-minded people. And of course on Zoom, you actually get to see some of them. So it's just, and the thing about it also, Abe, is that it's not long. It's like 45 minutes, man. We get in there, do what we do, boom, boom, boom. Right about 9:15, it's like, hey, everybody, we'll see you next week. So you get on and get to work, get to business, right? But people have definitely embraced it as the thing that they want to do every Tuesday morning. And of course, you're always welcome.
Well, I know Richard have represented us there consistently, so I appreciate that platform for GCA. That's to have Richard do that there.
Richard doesn't miss Tuesday Talks unless he has to. You're right. That is correct. That is correct. He got GCA covered very well.
Yeah. So thank you for that. And I really enjoyed our friendship, our partnership, and the collaboration between the Government Contractors Association, the Atlanta Black Chambers, and what we're doing together. So lots of good stuff. And so you appreciate you being a part of our, part of what we're doing today here at the Governese channel, where we teach businesses, entrepreneurship skills and learning how to become government contractors. So it's been a joy having you with us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melvin. Thank you. It was great having you with us. I think this was a great session. Two of my favorite people. So thank you both.
So last thoughts here. How do people reach the Atlanta Black Chamber, and how do they reach you if they need just some thoughts about financial guidance?
So the easy way to reach me, I do have a website, essentialwealthmanagement.com. Also, I'm on LinkedIn, Melvin M. Coleman. Definitely reach out to me, or if you need to do it by way of the chamber, that's fine. That's fine as well. If you go to the chamber's website, atlantablackchambers.org, there is an email, info@Atlanta Black Chambers. You can email us directly. There is a way on our website for you to go directly into our database. You just join our mailing list, and that would allow you to get our newsletter, which is our primary source of communication. Every Tuesday morning, there's a newsletter that comes out, and it pretty much lays out, hey, this is what's happening, at least over the next 2 weeks or maybe a few weeks out. And so people look to that and they really kind of plan around what they want to attend. So go to the Chamber's website. You can email us. We even have a phone number there. Sometimes you call that number and we answer, or you leave a message and we'll get back to you in a couple hours. But yeah, I would say the Chamber's website for sure would be the easiest way to connect with us.
All right, awesome, man. I'll put your information on the podcast also. So if they go, they're great, but they can also get the information down below the podcast area here.
Fantastic.
All right. Well, hey, it's good having everybody. And we are signing off on this Governese episode here. Until next time, we will see everybody then. Our second sponsor is GovGenie, GovGenie, stop wishing, start winning. GovGenie is on a mission to democratize government contracting opportunities for small women and minority-owned businesses. Their objective is to change the disparities for small businesses in the $2 trillion government marketplace. GovGenie is like LinkedIn for government contractors. It is a social CRM unifying the fragmented government procurement lifecycle and uses AI and ML to help users to socialize, foster relationships, find bids, search for teaming partners, manage proposals, source industry events, and facilitate the capture management process. This saves you, the user, money and time with one streamlined platform versus many other disparate software out there. Learn more about GovGenie at govgenie.com, GovGenie.com.